If you're a woman over 40 and you're still chasing fad diets or quick fixes, it's time for some tough love. I've seen too many women waste years on the wrong advice, jumping from diet to diet. I was one of them too. I've gone through more than my share of fat loss struggles over the decades, and I've coached women to overcome them too. So I'm going to break down the honest, sometimes uncomfortable truths about fat loss after 40 and what you can do to get leaner and stronger as you get older. I've been a fat loss coach for over 25 years, and I've seen a lot of trends come and go. It's only in the past 7 or 8 years that we started to hear about menopause on social media. And it's really only in the last 4 or 5 years that we've started to hear about perimenopause, that interesting phase of life that happens about 6 to 10 years before menopause, a year after your period stops. The average age of menopause is about 51 to 52. Most women start to notice things in their mid-40s, but some experience it younger. Now, I know when I was in my 20s, the only thing I knew about menopause was I was going to get hot flashes and then my period was going to stop. I didn't have any idea about this perimenopause thing. And I think it's really great that we've got all these people advocating for women's health and for these particular symptoms and these challenges to be at the forefront of the conversation. I think that's an amazing thing. But I hate the narrative in some circles that women are these fragile, precious creatures in their 40s and 50s, and we have to change everything about our training and eating to cope. And as an evidence-based coach who follows the latest science, I'll tell you that those restrictions you might have heard aren't supported by research. They're theories that some influencers have made up based on mechanistic data and a few rodent studies. And I realize that a lot of these people are PhDs and doctors and appear to be experts, but they're actually going against what the body of evidence shows. That's why they're so popular, because they're different. Kind of like carnivore. It's really popular because it's so different. Also not a good idea, by the way. We have decades of research on women throughout the lifespan. Not as much as on young men, I know. Not as much as we would like, of course, but enough to know what works for fat loss and muscle building. And a lot of that is very individual. As a coach who has worked with women and men throughout the decades, I never give a person advice based on their sex. I do it based on their training experience, their current fitness, their health, their personal strengths and weaknesses, and their preferences. That's what it really means to be evidence-based. I look at 3 things. 1 is the research. 2 is my personal experience with similar clients. That's for doctors, that would be clinical experience. And 3, the client's personal preferences. Only then can I come up with a workout and nutrition program that's truly evidence-based. I'm going to show you some of the ways that women over 40 go wrong with their approach and what you can do to succeed with your fat loss goals in a healthy, productive way. Don't chase skinny. I started weight training at 15 to get stronger for my karate competitions. I was tall and slim, but I was tough. And I wanted to feel stronger and hold my own against girls who had naturally more solid builds. Fuel your body for your training and for your life. Yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat if you're overweight or obese and want to do that, but it's much better and healthier to only gradually reduce your calories by a small amount. Make sure that physical activity becomes a regular and enjoyable part of your life. Technically, you don't need exercise to lose fat. Managing your food and drink intake gives you a lot more bang for your buck when it comes to weight loss. But you'll never feel as good as you could if you're not exercising regularly. And as you get older, if you're not doing physical activity, strength training, cardio, and moving, walking, you're going to get weaker. You don't want to be that frail old lady who needs help to get out of her chair. You want to get as much as possible out of your life and be independent and strong as long as you can. So think about exercise as your insurance policy for that healthy life later on. Don't compete with anyone but yourself. It's great to look at older fitness influencers to be inspired by the possibilities as you age. Make sure, though, that they have a positive attitude towards aging. It's not about trying to be young, but to feel youthful, I guess, in the traditional way that most people don't. Being able to carry your own groceries with confidence, just having that spring in your step. Have a good reason. It's okay to want to look better, to feel better about yourself, but find small, tiny little reasons and small little achievements that you enjoy. Maybe it's seeing a bit of muscle definition in your arms so you can see the result of your weight training pay off. Don't waste any time ruminating on your past failures or regretting that you didn't do this earlier. I spent over a decade of fighting with 10 to 15 to 20 pounds, trying to restrict myself to only clean food, feeling like a failure, even though I was already a personal trainer and coaching other people. Today is the youngest you'll ever be, so take advantage of whatever energy and health that you have and work to increase it. I know a lot of us go through tough times in the 40s and 50s, perimenopause and menopause. Normally about 80% of women have some sort of symptoms that are interfering with their quality of life. And two things can be true at once. You're having a really hard time losing fat because you're not sleeping well, your joints hurt, you're tired and depressed and or anxious. And you can also do the things you need to do to lose fat. A lot of women want to say, it's harder for me because of perimenopause. No doubt, it is harder. I know I have these symptoms. I have to fight through them every day. So do you want to run around telling everybody how hard it is for you, or do you want to search for a solution? Blaming your metabolism is not only inaccurate, but how does it help you solve your problem? Blaming your age doesn't give you any benefit because unless you've got some sort of Benjamin Button thing going on, you're only getting older and giving yourself more of an opportunity to lean into that excuse with each passing year. Now, everything I'm saying, of course, comes from a place of love. Maybe some people will call it tough love. That's fine. But it's tough love coming from a woman who's also in that perimenopausal stage of life, who's going through fatigue, digestive issues, bloating, heart palpitations, alternating between anxiety, which I've never experienced before, and depressive moods, sleep issues, waking up nearly every night for over 2 years, sore boobs, joint pains in my hands and arms that got me screened for rheumatoid arthritis, which I thankfully don't have. I know how hard it can be, but I want to tell you not to give up, not to give in. Rest and recover and take care of yourself the way you need to, but please don't give up on improving your health and feeling the way you want to feel. This is temporary and it will pass eventually. Champions don't wait for perfect conditions. Champions pursue their goals in the face of imperfect conditions. Now, something I've heard recently is that most women over 40 are undereating and overexercising. That is a myth. There are a very small percentage of women who undereat and overexercise for long periods of time. That falls into eating disorder territory, and I'm not going to go there. Here's what the numbers, the data actually says. About 60 to 70% of women 40 to 59 are overweight or obese. Only about 24% of women between 45 and 64 do strength training. That's how they group the data. It's slightly higher for cardio, but health guidelines in the US and Canada say 2 days of strength training and 150 minutes of cardio. Only about 20 to 26% get that minimum health recommendation. It's only a bit higher in men, about 28 to 32%. So if you're meeting those guidelines, well done, because it looks like about 75% of women aren't. If you want to push things a bit more, get strong, feel even better, you'll outperform other women of any age, but it's not a competition with anyone else. It's really about getting the most from your body and the most out of your life. I'm here for women who are serious about building lean muscle and losing fat within the context of a healthy, balanced lifestyle. You're thinking about building a routine that helps you feel strong once you get into your 60s and 70s and really get the most out of life. I'm planning to keep living with enthusiasm and energy for as long as I possibly can, and I hope you'll join me. Please subscribe and get started on your lean and strong life with whatever video pops up for you here.